That was actually my time you were taking. That's all right. I said a year ago that Don Ray would find a way to make the financial report exciting and enthusing, and job well done. As the president of the association, you get to delegate, and when you delegate and everybody gives their report, there's not a lot left to report on sometimes. So I picked out a couple of different topics to talk about. One is PGA Frisco. How did we get here? Why are we here? I sat on that board in 2015, 2016 when we were discussing our home in West Palm Beach and the need to kind of get the building together. At that point, we had the 100 building which we owned and the 300 building which we rented. We rented the 300 building for a fair, healthy price. And the discussion was we needed one building, 100,000 square feet. We did an RFP, 22 cities across the country that met certain metrics. And I remember sitting in that room and hearing about this building that's going to be transformational, and that if we find this new space, it was going to be transformational. And the very first building that we were shown was, for lack of a better term, I think it was like an art van on the other side of I-95 in West Palm Beach. It was an old furniture store, and I just couldn't figure out how that was going to be transformational. We could do the RFP. We land on Frisco. And I had no idea, to be quite honest, when we were talking about it, when we were talking about Frisco, I was thinking to myself, why are we going to San Francisco? And I had no idea about Frisco, Texas. I had no idea what it offered and what it would present to the association. So I sat in the boardroom and I was listening and paying attention. And once again, hearing this thing about this building being transformational and giving away a little bit about how long I've been in this business, I worked at PGA National when the 100 building was brand new. And you heard Jack Druga talk about it. Jack Druga and I were in the cart barn together in the early 80s, and that building was built in 1980. And it was just that. It was an office space and it was a building. And I really struggled in the boardroom to try to figure out how an office building could be transformational. So then when I ran for national office, I remember going through the interviews, and Ronnie Glanton, I think you're in the room, you asked me about how I stood about coming to Frisco, and I said I didn't know. I had no idea how I felt about bringing the West Palm Beach coming to Frisco, Texas, bringing our new home to Frisco, Texas. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought about it, and the more I looked at it, and the more I researched it. And we came out here, and we've said numerous times, we're standing on that hill and looking over this field and what it was going to look like, and I don't have a great vision from that standpoint. And we've talked about it during this meeting. I think it has exceeded my expectations dramatically. I think this building is transformational. It's not only transformational, it's educational. It tells the story of who and what we are as an association. And I know, Jim, you were a huge advocate for not having 100% digital representation of our history, but having some actual memorabilia in the space. And there was a lot of effort put into that. There are a lot of hours. John Newkirk's been mentioned here numerous times as far as his dedication and work, but the Officer Corps came here several times and gave our input. So I think what we have has actually turned out to be very transformational. I think this is going to be it is a great move for the PGA of America, but there is still some confusion. This is not very dissimilar to what we had in West Palm Beach. Keep in mind, we had the 100 building, we rented the 300 building, and we didn't own any of the 4 golf courses that office sat on. And as I said, Jack Druga and I worked in the bag room at PGA National. We went to staff meetings, and I heard the ownership at PGA National talk to us about how they felt about PGA members. And we didn't bring in rack rate, so we fell to the bottom of the list. And I heard that verbatim sitting in an employee staff meeting. We have a wonderful relationship here with Omni. We have a wonderful relationship here with the city of Frisco. And while we don't own these golf courses, we own that property that the new home sits on. And we do have this wonderful relationship that we can build on. And I am thoroughly convinced that we will have a better relationship here than we had at PGA National. I think our PGA professionals will get treated better. I think the golf courses are going to be fantastic. Everything's going to change over the course of the next few years. We've got 26 majors that are 26 events that are going to be hosted here. We've had one major that was already hosted here. And the people I've met with Kurt Alexander, who's the president of Omni, and during the KitchenAid Senior PGA Championship, and he said, John, you know, we are a hotel company. We're not a golf company. This is an unusual model for them. They're used to people traveling to their hotels and then happening to play golf. This is the reverse. People are traveling here to play these facilities, to see this facility, and they happen to stay here at the hotel. It's a totally different business model for them. So they're on a learning curve. And I think it's only going to get better for everybody in this room and everybody that we represent. The other thing I'd like to talk about is June 6th. And we talk about this logo, this badge, and June 6th. On June 6th, actually on June 5th, I flew into Baltusrol to do the KPMG Women's PGA Championship Media Day. I got a call from Gina. I'm in the clubhouse, sleeping in the clubhouse, and I get a call from Gina that said, you have to evacuate the clubhouse. There is some type of a super spreader, and they want to disinfect the clubhouse. I said, Gina, I'm not leaving. I'm dead tired. I'll lock my doors. I'll turn off the lights. I promise I won't call anybody. I won't go anywhere. And in the morning, I'll get up and I'll leave. And she said, by the way, the media day has been canceled. Ironically, June 6th, media day. I had a 9 o'clock at night flight. Rearranged that flight to be about 10 o'clock the next morning. 10 o'clock on June 6th. I'm sitting in the airplane at 9:57. Doors are closed, waiting to take off. 10 o'clock rolls around and we haven't taken off yet, and all of a sudden my phone blows up like nobody's business. Is this true? Did you know? You're on the tour policy board. What's going on? Endless. Phone call after phone call after phone call. And obviously the flight attendant said, you know, shut off your phone. Shut off my phone, fly an hour and a half to Detroit. Turn my phone back on. Countless text messages, emails, voice messages about what was going on. How could we? How did we? June 7th, I'm actually with John Easterbrook playing in a golf tournament, and I get more texts. Pictures of cartoons that show the blue and gold badge, showing that we made the deal, and the confusion. And we talked about it. I called Jeff Price. I said, Jeff, this stuff has got to stop. Lester Holt had his picture right here on nightly news. That didn't happen once. That actually happened twice. And it happened 1 week apart. And as I said yesterday, or today actually, that, you know, it's time. It's time for us to tell our story. It's time for us to tell the world who and what we are and how important we are. We're doing some really, really great things. We've had a lot of firsts. This was the very first year, as Don alluded to earlier, that, you know, we met and created this world alliance of PGA professionals. We met with the leaders of the PGA of Canada, GB&I, Sweden, Germany, South Africa, New Zealand, and Australia in Liverpool. And we talked about what we all share, our common goals. We talked about what our challenges are. We also talked about how we stood on certain issues, how we stood on bifurcation, how we stood on the rollback of the golf ball. But June 6th kind of started all that, and it started us thinking about we are pretty powerful. And we need to continue to be that, and we need to continue to differentiate ourselves and tell the world what we do and how we do it. And I think the combination of this transformational building with all our historic artifacts in that building telling our story. Remember, when we were in Florida, we had it in 2 separate locations. We were in West Palm Beach for the office, and we were in Port St. Lucie for education and the historical artifacts. We're in one location. I think the combination of this and us rebranding ourselves and telling the world who we are and why we love this game is going to help us create a better future for the next generation of golf professional. Lastly, I want to congratulate the team of 17 PGA of America golf professionals from across the country who together have helped raise awareness and support for PGA Reach by running in the 2023 TCS New York City Marathon. Since 2017, over 70 PGA of America golf professionals have run the marathon in support of PGA Reach, and we applaud all these dedicated individuals. Thank you.